Okay, welcome to the G&JB show, episode number 54. We've been busy lately. Jack Bowen, how are you, mate?
I'm good, White Axe. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Today we got Trent Broadhurst, the man. How are you, buddy?
Good, mate, good. I know we've been talking a while about getting on, having a chat, and it's good to find a beer with you boys and get into it.
Mate, just quietly, there's going to be some stories here, I can tell. Known this bloke since he was about 11, 12 years old. Always a real talent, and I don't know if a lot of people know, but you've had a few rough things going on in your life and a few challenges, some say, but yeah, it's time to have a chat and see how it goes. Mate, tell us where you were born, where you grew up, and what childhood was like.
Yeah, so I was born down in southwest New South Wales, a little town called Lithgow. Got a Indigenous background. Moved up to Queensland when I was about maybe 5 or 6 years old. And, modest upbringing. Some things happened when I got a bit older, around that 11, 12-year-old mark. But up until then, normal childhood. Obviously, a lot of families these days don't, but we didn't have much. Not that I went without, ever. But, very modest upbringing. And then, things sort of had a bit of a drastic change when I was about 10, 11 years old. So,
Would you say that's when your mum took off, or before that?
yeah, it was the exact time my mum took off. She took off on an internet affair, some bloke she'd met online, left my dad, single father with 5 kids, working a full-time job. My older sister, she was 16 at the time, I think. I was 12, younger brother 10, younger brother 9, and my little sister was about 6. So, now I've gotten a bit older, I've realised how much it has affected me. My 2 brothers, they're still not doing great. My little sister, she's doing well. She's got a good partner, bought a couple of properties. But yeah, at the time, and even up till, mid-20s, wasn't so sad for me, but, having my little sister there, that old, growing up without a mum, that breaks my heart, that does. So that was probably the toughest thing for me at that time.
Had you moved up to Brisbane yet?
Yeah. We'd been in Brisbane since I was about three or 4 years old. Yeah.
I remember coming to the gym when myself and Chrissy started at the gym. Obviously, we were all together at the Logan PCYC with Liam White. There's a lot of talent in that gym with these young kids around. There's you and Mick Percy and Dave Foster and
Kramer brothers.
The Kramer boys. There was
Corum and Azia.
And Urea. There's quite a bit of talent there.
Liam White's son, Shane, as well.
Shane,
he's turned pro, I think.
That's right, yeah.
Yep.
And then I remember
we had one of the best gyms going around.
So good. It was so
probably
good.
Probably the best gym.
Yeah, well, it probably was at the time. And I just remember around that time when your mum left, and me and Chris were like, how can this happen?
Yeah.
But I remember little stories of little snippets of you, like not going to school because you had to look after the little ones. Mate, we knew as older people at the time, obviously we were older, that would have been tough on you, but at the time you were just probably doing it so your dad could go to work and earn some money, and you were just looking after the kids.
Yeah.
How was that How was that period in your life? And
Yeah, so look, like you said, I did have to take care of not so much my brothers. They were doing the same as I was, I wasn't going to school for obvious reasons, having to take care of my younger sister and things like that. But yeah, very, very heartbreaking, for a mother to get up and leave 5 kids with no explanation and just leave us how she did, that was very, very heartbreaking. And, getting my little sister ready for school, learn how to do hair, learn how to plait hair, all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? So I was just doing the best I could, being a young kid, 12, 13 years old, trying to raise brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? Cooking meals, getting my sister off to school, going to school, walking her home, things like that. Yeah, it was tough, you know. And there was one day there, she didn't come home from school. I went to pick her up from school. She wasn't there. She'd already left. And the cops knocked on the door probably about 4:35 in the afternoon. And they had my little sister in the police car. And I was like, what's happened? What's she done wrong? You know what I mean? And they said, no, nothing. We just found her sitting down the park by herself. You know what I mean? And this is a little girl at 7 years old, you know. So she's obviously, don't know, just obviously with what happened, my mum leaving, her not having a mother around, my dad working a full-time job, she obviously just didn't want to go home. And police found her sitting down the park by herself at 7 years old, you know what I mean? So
Just didn't know what to do with herself.
just didn't know what to do with herself, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I remember it. You know, I remember it quite clearly at that time when you were struggling. I also remember other times when you played up at school yourself.
Yeah.
And your dad would walk in the gym and have a quick chat with Liam, and then next minute Trent's in the ring getting absolutely fucking flogged by Liam on the pads, just fucking do this and push-ups and do this and flogging him. He's obviously played up at school, and his dad said, sort this fucking kid out because I can't. You remember those days getting flogged?
It was always good to get a flogging from Liam. I remember one time I was about maybe 11 or 12 and, you know, stole a couple of cigarettes off my dad, as you do, you know what I mean? And they took me to the doctor at the time, Ian Hazel.
Oh, yeah, Ian Hazel.
And he just done my medical. And now I know these days you can't test someone's, you know, blood or whatever for nicotine, you know what I mean? But he's obviously, my dad, we've got out of the doctor's surgery and we've gone to the gym and Liam's gone, you've been smoking, rah, rah. And I was like, you know, I didn't know any better. I thought, fuck, they found out through my medical, you know? So my dad's told him, obviously, and, you know, same thing, straight in the ring, absolute hiding, you know what I mean? And with him, it wasn't just, you know, 1 or 2 rounds of a hiding, you know, staying here till I tell you you're done, you know, that was it.
Mate, what was... you went to the gym, obviously. What age did you start in the gym?
So the way I actually got into boxing, we were playing football, and my dad was the coach, and Aaron and Daniel Russell, their dad Colin, he was the step coach, and we were playing up big time at football training. You know, WWE or WWF back then was big, you know, so we'll put, you know, DDTs and headlocks and on each other and suplexes, and we got taken up to Logan PCYC as punishment for a boxing session.
Oh, is that what happened?
And I fell in love with it straight away, you know what I mean? But earliest memory of boxing would have been maybe 5 or 6 years old, maybe. Remember watching Evander Holyfield on TV, coming out with the towel over him, and you know what I mean? And when that come on, the pay-per-view my old man had, you know, I'd go put a towel on, I'd come out the ring and shadow boxing, and even that song, shadow boxing, you know?
Yeah.
Shadow boxing, seeing my shadow on the wall, and that was my first ever memory of boxing. But yeah, that's how I got started in the boxing, and that's when we got taken up there for punishment. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old from football, and you had to wait till your 10th birthday to be able to start at the PCYC. Yeah. And my dad took me up there for my birthday present on my 10th birthday. So that was when I started on my 10th birthday, July 21st, 1998. And
how long did you have training till you had your first fight?
I had my first fight on September 19 out at Rosewood against a guy named Terry Lambert.
Oh, Terry Lambert, yeah right.
He'd had 5 fights.
Yep.
And he was a couple of kilos heavier. Threw me in and got the job done in the first round. And honestly, mate, it's probably the best feeling I've ever had in the world. And Liam come up to me later on in the evening and said to me, he goes, do you want another fight tonight? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm just joking, you know what I mean? But
because then you could.
You could.
You could have 2 fights in a day.
Yeah,
right.
Years ago, it happened nearly every weekend, didn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of times a night.
Yeah. And like if you were in titles, you'd fight in the morning and then if you afternoon if you got free.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was long gone by the time I come through. Yeah, fuck.
Mate, when did you... During your young age, you were a bit of a scallywag, mate. You were in a bit of trouble and all over the shop. Mate, and look, to be honest, you were super talented in the gym. Sometimes you chose not to do the hard work. It was as a young kid. Did you do extras? Did you do running and stuff by yourself as a kid? Did you do extra training, or only maybe when you had Australian championships and stuff like that? Or did you just wing it through your talent?
No, I did use you remember just before Liam left, we'd go to Liam's and
Yep.
we'd do all those extra runs on
that's right.
Saturday
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. But I did do a little bit outside of the gym. Not a great deal like you would as a professional or nowadays, but, I would do a little bit extra. But, 90% of it was just relying on pure talent, you know what I mean?
Mate, so many people saw you as the next Olympian, the next superstar of Australian boxing.
Yeah.
Mate, but I want to go back into a little bit more of your life through your teenage years, mate. You had a few ups and downs and a few things that people would go, what the fuck? Mate, so you'd had your first fight. You're 10, you get through 11 and 12, your mum left. What was the next phase in your life there through sort of what, maybe grade 8 through grade 10, sort of?
Grade 10.
What, did you even do it?
Didn't go close, mate.
Didn't go close. Oh, no, you were working.
I was in year 7 at Marsden State Primary, and I just kept getting into trouble. And
What trouble? What were you doing? Just being a little dick?
Fighting, mainly.
Yeah.
Playing up in class. Just had a short attention span, and probably a little bit smarter than a lot of the kids in my class. So I'd get quite bored with the work and the stuff that was going on in the classroom. And it got to a point where I was allowed at school for, I think, 2 hours in the morning, and then I had to be picked up and go home. So I was only allowed at school for 2 hours, and those 2 hours were spent in the office with the principal. And then I was fortunate enough to get a rugby scholarship to Brisbane State High, prestigious Brisbane State High. The only way you can get in there if you don't live in the area is through an academic or a sports scholarship.
And it wasn't academic that got you in?
No, it wasn't academic. Got a rugby league scholarship to there, and I lasted, I think, about 3 months. The first incident was year 8s used to sit up the top here in this little bit where there's some rocks, and then down on the bottom with the year 9s underneath this big tree, and we'd have food fights every few days. And this one day I pegged this apple, and I hit this bloke in the head. Just happened to be the biggest bloke in grade 9.
Excellent.
And I was sitting there and I'm like, fuck, what have I done? Next minute, he's come up, surrounded by about 30 people. He's pushed me, threw a punch, cracked me, and then, I give him a bit of a hiding. And this bloke, he was a monster, had a beard, year 9 had a beard. I'm a 57 kilo, 13-year-old kid, you know what I mean? And everyone's sort of like, oh. And anyway, I got dragged in the office and got suspended for it. This bloke that copped a hiding that started me, twice my size, he walked out with no punishment whatsoever. And there was another fight after that, and they pretty much said, that's it. You can't go back. So
You did throw an apple at his head, though.
Oh,
Yeah, you forgot that part.
yeah.
Obviously not aimed at the big bloke, though.
No. There was a group of them just tossed an apple in, yeah.
So from there, when you got expelled, did you go to another school, or you stayed out of school and just looked after the kids? And
school was not for me, mate. I started, obviously looking after my brothers and sisters. We got enrolled in Marsden High after that. But me and my 2 brothers, we weren't interested in going at all, you know what I mean? So what we used to do, my dad would obviously leave for work at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah. So we'd just get up, we'd play Nintendo all day, or Nintendo 64, sorry, at that time. Evander Real Deal Holyfield Boxing, it was called, the little cassette. So we'd play that, and we'd put on our school uniforms 10, 15 minutes before Dad got home. And we'd just sit there like we'd been at school all day, you know what I mean? And that lasted for about 3 months till we got a phone call from the school. Hey, your boys haven't been attending school, you know what I mean? Yeah, we got away from it for a while, but we thought we were geniuses, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, getting dressed before he gets home. We're home and hosed here. But didn't work out for too long.
So what happened then? Your dad was a scaffolder, wasn't he?
Yeah, scaffolder, yep.
And then, so what was did your dad just say, look, if you're not going, you got to work, mate?
Yeah, well, so he'd obviously split up with mum at that time, and he'd met a few females, and every weekend without fail, Friday, Saturday night, he was down the pub, binge drinking, playing pokies, just getting pissed. It'd come to Sunday, he'd be in bed all day. So, we never saw our father, you know what I mean? But having a marriage of 15 years and your partner suddenly taken off, no one knows how to act in that situation, you know what I mean? I hate my dad for some of the things he done, but at the same time, he's my old man, I love him. He done the best he could with what he had at the time. Did he make mistakes? 100% he did. Did he put women in front of us kids? 100% he did. Should he have done that? Definitely not, you know what I mean? You got kids, you brought kids into this world, they should be your priority. Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest things was him putting women in front of us kids. I remember another time I was maybe 14.
Like girlfriends that you mean?
Yeah, just girlfriends, and just trashy women too, we had a lease coming to an end on Browns Plains Road where we were living at the time, and he decided to move in with the woman he was with at the time. And obviously there's 5 of us kids, right? She lives in a 2-story house. Her grandparents are underneath in the granny flat. 5 of us kids. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs. This lady's already got 3 kids. Where are we going? Where's our bedrooms? You know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing. My dad didn't think about that. And we went there, and we were sleeping on the couch, on the floor, pretty much tents in the backyard, even wherever we could. You know what I mean? Tents.
Shit.
And she'd pretty much said, I don't want him here myself. I don't want him here. And they called the police. And I remember to this day, still to this day, I was sitting in his car that he had at the time, bawling my eyes out because they didn't want me there. 14-year-old. 14. Didn't want me there. Cops turned up and trying to get me out of the car. Wouldn't come out of the car. They smashed the window with the baton, dragged me out of the car, dragged me off to Logan Hospital, mental department.
Did they? I didn't know this.
Yeah, dragged me off to mental department, and then my old man walked in the next day with a bag of clothes, dropped him off, and the doctor there at the mental hospital at Logan pretty much said, your son's got no business here, you need to take him home. And we went home, and we went back to his partner's house at the time. They didn't want me there, and he had a conversation with her, and she pretty much said he needs to come and apologise to me, otherwise he's not welcome here. And I flat out refused, and pretty much slept in the car, slept in the tent in the backyard for next to however long.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
you're still boxing at this time, obviously.
Still boxing at this time, yep. And back then, and even through my early 20s, I didn't realise how much it mentally affected me. But now as I've gotten a bit older, a bit more mature, and starting to realise, that these issues in my childhood have caused problems as I've gotten older, and I have started to just deal with them now. Looking back now, it's really affected the way I've grown up mentally, you know what I mean? Not being wanted by your parents, not being wanted by people around you that your parents are, in relationships with and things like that. It's a very sad feeling, man. Very sad feeling. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Was boxing your only outlet around then, Trent, or were you ever like a drinker or anything else that maybe distracted you from that?
Yeah, so boxing was my only outlet at that time. As far as drinking goes, I remember my old man, like I said, out at the pub every weekend. He might come home at 2, 3 in the morning. Might have had an argument with the woman he was with at the time. And I remember one time we walked from Marsden to Crestmead at about 3:30 in the morning. We took a backpack of beers, and Marsden to Crestmead's about a 15-kilometre walk. Trying to get a taxi. My dad's like, we'll just walk. He's blind. And he goes, you want a beer, boy? I said, yeah, I'll have a beer. So we're walking along Browns Plains Road from Marsden to Crestmead, drinking beers, 4X Gold. Jesus. Yeah.
15, 16.
Yeah. But first ever drink I had, I stole some couple of glasses of Goon out of my nana's fridge.
Classy.
Classy.
Loves it.
Classy as, mate. Not Pash Pop, not quite the top shelf stuff, but yeah, 2 glasses of that. Ran around the backyard for about half an hour. Fucking how good's this? Fucking this is unreal. Next minute I'm spewing up.
Blech.
My nan comes home. What's wrong? I said, oh, the chicken pies in the fridge made me sick, blah, blah, blah.
He's quick, eh?
He always come up with a good excuse, this bloke.
Anyway, yeah, so, I've didn't have a problem with alcohol when I was younger, but it's definitely something I was doing a lot younger than you should.
But it was mainly boxing, was that
Mainly
outlet?
boxing, yeah, that was my only outlet. Like, had a good bunch of guys, you know, after Liam left, I had a good bunch of guys like Gareth, Chris, a couple of the older guys in the gym around, you know what I mean? They tried to steer me in the right path. Did I always listen? Oh, fucking absolutely not. But,
No, he didn't.
you know, I tried my best most of the time. Even at the PCYC, after Liam left, you know, I don't know if you remember this one, but Chris used to send us on this run. We'd start at the PCYC. We'd go down Kingston Beenleigh Road, down Wembley Road, along Kingston Beenleigh Road, up over Kingston Railway Station, back up Jacaranda Avenue. About an 8.6, 9 kilometre run. You remember that one?
Yep.
And again, I was about 14 at the time. And I remember one of them runs, I was in tears running back on Jacaranda Avenue, just pushing myself that hard. I wanted to be first, but I had to be first back. Grown men behind me. Remember big tall Billy? Ponytail?
Yeah.
He was riding my back the whole way, and I was sprinting, mate, and I was in tears from pain, but I was like, I've got to be first back. I can't let anyone beat me. Like, that's the mentality I had, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know if maybe it was wanting to be accepted or wanting to be, you know, acknowledged for doing something good, you know what I mean? Maybe that was part of my parents splitting up and my dad, my mum leaving, you know what I mean?
Pain.
Yeah, pain. Having acceptance from someone else, maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but that was the extent I was willing to push myself to, just to get that recognition. You know what I mean?
It's funny because it's not until you're older that you think about reasons and you can sort of break it down. Does this? But at the time, it's just a feeling, and you just think that you got to win. But yeah, it's later on you start thinking about yeah, Jesus Christ, things that went on in my life really affected me back then. But you're just living it when you're a kid. You don't know any different.
100%. That's the thing at the moment. You know, I've got to an age now. So currently I'm about 10 months sober. 10 months sober and clean. No drinking, no drugs. But part of what that was, what were you just saying? Sorry.
About you drinking when you, I suppose the run that you remember from
what I was getting at. Yeah, so as I've gotten older now, matured a little bit, had the little one, I'm starting to realise why I feel the way I do from my childhood, you know what I mean? I'm starting to recognise triggers, how to deal with them, things like that, how to communicate. Communication's never been my, strong point. Obviously not being at school, not having a mother or a father raise you, you don't really learn those skills, those life skills, you know what I mean? But learning triggers and things like that now, something I'm slowly that's coming to me, something I'm slowly learning. One of them for context, I remember I was about, again, young kid, 10, 11 years old maybe. My grandparents lived at Rochedale and we went for a drive over there. And
is this your mum's side or dad's side?
My dad's side.
Dad's
Side, yep. And they dropped me off at my grandparents. We went over there for a swim and a barbecue, as we used to every now and then. And anyway, I see everyone getting in the car, in the van to go home. And I've gone to get in the van with everyone else. And, my dad sort of grabbed me and said, no, you're staying here for the night. And I was like, I started breaking down in tears straight away, you know what I mean? And I still remember to this day, running barefoot up the road for a good 2 kilometres, chasing the van, my brothers and sisters looking out the back window at me, not understanding why I'm being left to stay here for the night, you know what I mean? So was there...
was there a reason?
They just wanted a break from me, yeah. Now when my daughter gets dropped at her mother-in-law's or goes for a sleepover, those feelings start coming back to me. I start feeling guilty and start getting those feelings I got when I was a young kid, when I was left behind, you know what I mean? Even though I know my daughter's going to be safe, she's only going for a sleepover. It's a trigger of mine, you know what I mean? So that's just one for context that I'm getting at. yeah, it's just a really shitty feeling, not being wanted. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's how you felt for
Yeah.
a big part of your life, not wanted or not belonging, and boxing's been like your family?
Yeah, for
'Cause
many years, all the boys around the gym, just the comradeship, the mateship, all the boys in the gym. You do feel like you belong. It's individual sport, but it's a team environment. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But my wife at the time now, she's played a massive part. She's stuck by me for the last 13, 14 years. Lot of bad shit I've done, lot of bad shit. And she has been there through thick and thin, no matter how bad things have gotten. She's always stayed by my side. And, she's probably, her along with Chris, probably the two most
100%.
influential people in my life that have helped me to get to where I am today.
Yeah, and Chris definitely wasn't the one that, look, he'd put his arm around you when you need it, but he'd chew your ass off if you needed that too. I bet you've been kicked up the ass many times.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing I'll ever be able to do in this world to thank Chris for what he's done for me. I owe my life to that man, and that's no lie, no word of a lie. I heard him on the other day here say, jail or death, 100% right, no question about it.
Yeah, if boxing wasn't in your life, I think everyone that knew you as a kid, that's probably where it would have gone.
Yeah. Look, I got into a lot of trouble when I was younger, and like Chris said, and this is the other thing, I'll call bullshit on this one as well. Oh, he wasn't a kid that stole a can of Coke from Kmart. I fucking stole a can of Coke from Kmart, trust me. But it was a lot worse than that,
Yeah.
Cars.
What about? Oh yeah, talk about that. Yeah.
Cars, stealing cars. Remember one time we stole this car. We broke in. We grabbed the keys to the car. We took this car. We ended up crashing this thing anyway.
Was this around Woodridge area or Logan?
Yeah, it was Woodridge actually. Yeah, Ewing Road to be exact. Won't incriminate my accomplices, but anyway, we crashed this car. We get out. We split our ways. We run different directions, and I thought the best place to hide would be in a bin. And
Who's going to look there?
yeah, anyway, you hear this helicopter coming. Next minute, you hear this dog barking, and I'm like, dog, yeah, I'm sweet. And then I'm like, I didn't know sniffer dogs at the time, you know what I mean?
He can't see me.
Dogs, I could hear them coming closer and closer. I could hear the footsteps, and I'm going, fuck, don't open the bin, don't open the bin. And anyway, I hear this dog sniffing the bin, and then I hear this dog barking. And then I'm like, fuck, I'm fucked here. Opens the bin. Hey, mate, where have you come from? And I was speechless. I had no answers.
I just hang out here.
So, I was like, I didn't steal it, but I was a passenger. That I was driving. Yeah. But that was probably one of the worst ones. But yeah, a couple other ones. I remember another time I was living with Chris and Raylene, Chris's ex-partner at the time. I was at work and she rang me crying. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, I've got the police here. And I'm like, what for? And they're like, they won't tell me. You need to go down to the police station for an interview. And so the way it works is when you're 16, you get charged as a kid. 17 and older, you get charged as an adult. It was 8 days past my 17th birthday. And I was with Mike Percy in this incident.
Oh, Michael
Percy. Another talented fighter, very
talented,
wasted skill, to be honest. We got charged with robbery and company whilst pretending to be armed. And pretty serious charge for an adult. For a kid, not so much.
So when did you do it? How long before did you do it?
Um,
Before the cops turned up? Like, was it months? Like, were you 16 and they've waited till you're 17? Is that what they did, or?
I would have been younger than 17. So
Yeah,
when
right.
it happened, I was a kid. But when I was charged, I was an adult. So I was charged as an adult.
They were playing games with you, mate.
Yeah, so we get called in for this interview. They ask the questions, and I pretty much spill the beans on what happened, you know what I mean?
Just truth?
Truth,
You told the
absolute
truth,
truth, absolute truth. And, and this is on my daughter's life. I didn't have a great deal to do with what happened. Majority of it was Mike Percy, but I was there, and with crime, the way it works, if you're there, you're just as guilty for not stopping it.
Yeah.
And anyway, I got charged as an adult, spent 18 months in and out of court, ended up getting a 2-year suspended sentence So remember being in the dock of the court on sentencing day, crying my eyes out, thinking I was going to jail. My lawyer told me I was going to jail. And got a 2-year suspended sentence. And my lawyer appealed it, and I got thrown on 3 years probation, and I was given the maximum hours for community service, which I think at the time, and maybe even still now, is 240 per offence. So I got 240 hours of community service. So I had to go down the Lifeline once a week for 2 hours, and
For 2 hours?
2 hours a day.
That would have taken you forever.
2 hours a day at Lifeline. Yeah.
Oh, every day?
Every day.
Oh,
not
right.
every day, a couple of days a week, because I was still working as well.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, unpacking trucks, going through people's throwaways, shit like that. And I remember one day the lady come to me and she said, "Hey, I'll get you to go clean the toilets." And I just heard one of the other guys there on community service refuse to clean the toilets. And I was like, well, fuck you. Like, you've just asked him to do it. He won't. Why am I going to do it? Like, and anyway, they've put a complaint in. And this is how bad it was at the time. You weren't allowed to leave the premises to go get food. You weren't allowed to leave to do anything. You had to stay there for the whole day for your community service. And she couldn't put a complaint in against me, and which breached my probation. I had another 60 hours of community service added. And they sent me out to the rubbish tip at Browns Plains. And I think I'd done one stint there, and same thing, I got bit of a run-in with someone there, had an argument, and then the rest of it, Chris, I just spent a lot for this. He wrote me up hours for training kids in the gym and cleaning in the gym as part of community service. So,
which saying that you would have done that, helped a lot of kids around the gym.
Absolutely. And I breached my probation, parole, or whatever you want to call it, I think 18 times. Drug possession, drinking in public, fighting, public nuisance, just all the shit like that, you know what I mean? Whereas Mike Percy, being a 16-year-old kid, I think his punishment was a $200 fine, and he had to do a community conference, which means you basically sit down with the victims and you apologise. So he got that because he was 16.
Yeah.
I was 10 days past my 17th birthday when I was charged. So similar age, but 10 days, and you're charged as an adult. So completely different punishment. Yeah.
Wow.
Did your dad have much to say about that at that time, or you weren't really on contact?
Nah, I didn't speak to my dad for a good 6 years. I was actually not angry, I'd say upset. The fact that he'd chosen women over his own kids. He took my little sister with him everywhere. Yeah. But my two brothers and myself were pretty much left to defend for ourselves. I think Chris mentioned the other day, knocked on the door and said, "You need to take Trent, otherwise he's going to a home." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, at that stage when that did happen, there was a few things that sort of led up to that. Obviously me becoming a teenager, bit of testosterone in the blood.
Yeah. Not
agreeing with the women he was seeing and the things he was doing, binge drinking, things like that. I remember one night he come home from the pub and he was just in an angry mood for whatever reason. Probably had a loss on the pokies or something, who knows. But anyways, he's called me out for a fight. Tried to
What,
fight
just
me.
straight up?
Just straight up. Just come home.
No reason?
Just come home, said, "I'm fucking sick of your shit. You want to be a man? Let's go." And I was like, "No, I don't want to fight." 16-year-old kid. I don't want to fight. Just stop. And anyway, I was standing in the kitchen and he just cracked me with the right hand. And I was like, fuck this. So I threw a few back, give him a few, and pretty much fizzled out. And then the following weekend, we, Mike Percy again.
Were you speaking through the week, or did you sort of forget it, or did you stay apart from each other?
We were working for the same company at the same time, so we'd travel to work every day in the same car. We just wouldn't speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I can't be 100% on this, but I believe he was using drugs at the time with the woman he was seeing. Yeah. Speed or ice or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right.
He's just always moody, didn't look himself, angry. And as I was saying, the following week, he come home from the pub and myself and Mike Percy earlier on in the night had taken his car for a joyride around the streets of Marsden. And we come screaming around this corner, and I believe at the time we're doing about 90 k's, and jammed the brakes on, and the front right wheel hit the gutter, and started driving it home, and I'm like, something's wrong with this car. Anyway, we get home, and you got your control arm on your car, sits at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
My old man went to drive it the next day because we didn't tell him. We tried to hide it. And it had a look underneath. The control arm had actually folded closed. So it's gone from a 90-degree angle to closed. And he's like, you fucked my car. And he was coming up from the pub pissed, you know what I mean? And he offered me out on the street. And I was like, whatever. Went out on the street. We punched on. I gave him a bit of a touch-up. And since that day, he's never tried anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
How'd you feel after that?
At the time, not much. You know, being a 16-year-old kid and being attacked, looking back now, very, very sad.
Yeah.
Having to do that, you know what I mean? Like I said, my dad wasn't the greatest growing up, but he did the best with what he could, and he stuck around, you know what I mean? My mum didn't. My dad did. He done the best with what he could. Did he make the right decisions? Absolutely not, you know what I mean? Some of the things he done were just not good, but having to punch your old man, it's sad. It's sad. Even now, you know what I mean?
Have you had these conversations with your dad?
No.
Like, since you've been back speaking? Are you back speaking now?
Yeah, we're speaking now.
Yeah.
We didn't speak for quite a few years. Like I said, I was not angry, but upset with the things that he'd done. But I find it very hard to hold a grudge. You know what I mean? If I haven't
let it slide?
Let it slide, yeah. The relationship we got now is very good. More mates rather than father and son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he needs anything, like I bought my house with my wife. We bought an investment unit purely for him to live in.
Yeah, right.
That we don't charge him a cent. Lives there free. We cover everything for him. He's on a disability pension from a work accident.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so he's getting older now, you know. And like I said, he stayed there. He didn't have to. He could have quite easily. He did palm me off, you know what I mean? But from 13 through till 15, 16, whenever I moved in with Chrissy, he didn't have to have me around. You know, he could have just said fuck off. You know what I mean? But he tried his best while I was there.
Mate, do you know much about your dad's upbringing?
No, a little bit, yeah.
Like, how was he treated?
He had both his parents. They're still together, my grandparents.
Oh, that's your grandparents.
Yeah.
So that was a good relationship. You've had a good relationship with them?
Yep. They're still together. He had a pretty good upbringing. You know, back in those days, you cop hides. Not like these days, you know what I mean? But as far as I'm aware, he had quite a good upbringing. I just think after my mum left, you know,
things just
15 years
shit.
of marriage, and then all of a sudden she's gone. And then you're binge drinking every weekend. You're seeing women who aren't really interested in you. You know, they just want to party or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's what hurt me the most. Seeing my sister grow up without a mum, very upsetting for me. But seeing my dad going and destroy himself, binge drinking and stuff like that every weekend, that's just that was upsetting.
And then wanting to fight his son, you know, that's tough.
Yeah. Another thing that happened too, which I told my wife about this the other day, and it's the very first time I've ever mentioned it. Sorry.
Yeah, mate. It's all good.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's mate. You just be you.
Been embarrassed about it for years. I was again 6 or 7 years old, and I was sexually abused by next door neighbour.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I've known you since you were a kid, and this has never come
Yeah,
out.
like I said, told my wife the first time I ever mentioned it to anyone. The other day. Yeah, 6 or 7 years old.
Holy shit!
Never told my old man. Never told anyone.
No one knows.
No one knows. Second time I mentioned. Yeah. Looking back now, it's affecting me now thinking about it, but you know, it's been pushed to the back of my mind. Obviously, there's some fucking damage there from it, but
has it popped up in your mind many times and you've just squashed it?
Pushed it away. Yeah. Sorry, boys.
You know what?
Sorry, mate.
While you take a moment just to maybe regather yourself. you know what people say in hindsight, looking back, I never knew and people didn't know, but now it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does make sense.
100%. Hindsight's such a beautiful thing, man. Like, you know, looking back now, like my two brothers, I carry a lot of guilt for them, even though I shouldn't. I can't help it. My younger brother, Tyler, I think he's 2 years younger than me. I think he's had one job his entire life. Barely leaves the house, smokes weed, doesn't do anything. My older brother's doing a little bit better. He's got a young son, Joey, giant kid, 12 years old. He's 6'2", massive kid. Brother works. He's doing good for himself. You know, the guilt I carry, things so insignificant. Like one thing for context. Even things so small as, you know, going out to a nice restaurant, I feel guilty for that because I know that they haven't got to experience that, you know what I mean? Like, I know I've done well and created a good life for myself and I deserve it and that, but things like going out for a nice meal at a nice restaurant, just something so small like that, I get guilty from because I know they haven't got to experience that, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. You've also, Trent, I know it's not really off topic, but you've provided that experience for kids as we work with the kids at the Boxing Beyond Barriers. And I remember Gareth put up a thing about getting footy boots for the young fellas and just putting your money into them having an experience that maybe you didn't have. And, you know, mate, with everything you've just said, that kind of makes sense how you want to help the younger generation. And I think that's a credit to you, mate. You're doing a great thing there. Do you want to go on a bit about what he did?
So what happened, there was these kids at the Kingston YMCA, and there was a couple in particular as well. We can't mention any kids' names. They needed footy boots for a tournament, and none of these kids could afford football boots. So Trent was the first one to get onto me. Bam, ordered all these boys in his gym, and they all chipped in and went to the Amart or whatever they did and got footy boots. There was a few other people. Stephen Pitt as well organised boots, but Trent organised those boots. And then I spoke to Trent, thanking him and everything. Mate, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. I can't imagine how you're feeling. And then, you know, the two kids?
Yeah.
The two kids that we worked with, and they'd had a rough trot. Mum passed away. There was a big family.
Big family.
Dad was struggling, got sick himself.
This one with 12 or 13 kids.
Told Trent straight away. He's gone to his work and spoke to the guys at the gym. He's come back with $2 to $2.5 grand worth of vouchers for these kids just so they could have a good Christmas. And we went round there and we gave it to obviously we can't mention names, but we gave it to the family. And I took my kids around when we took the vouchers and things. Yeah, unfortunately, not unfortunately. The house wasn't what we would think is a nice place, you know what I mean? But like you're saying about your old man, the old man was still doing his best. He still had a roof over the kid's house, you know? And we had those
That's
vouchers.
all you can ask for, man. If they're trying their best,
Mate, the younger kid that we knew, there was 11 of them, but the younger kid that we knew 2 of them. He come out, he gave me a hug crying. I'm like, oh, it's all right, mate. You know, I said, people actually care, but I want people to know that you did that.
Yeah.
You did that. And look, now you're telling us about these stories. You know what it feels like to not have love and those sort of things.
I guess that's what it comes down to, you know. I've grown up not having people there, not having anything. I know what it's like to go without, mate. I know what it's like to go without. I know what it's like to have nothing. I remember we lived on Defiance Road at Woodridge, like right in the thick of things. And my bed was a mattress on milk crates. No bedding, no sheets, nothing. You know what I mean? Food in the house. I'm not saying we ever went without, you know what I mean? But majority of the time, there's nothing there. You know what I mean? So I know what it's like to go without. And for me, when I give back, you know what I mean? and I think I even messaged you
Yeah.
when I did it. I don't post any recognition. I don't want any of that.
You
You,
did,
know what I mean? It's not about that for me. It's about giving back because, like I said, I know what it's like to have nothing. It's a fucking shit feeling, and even things like going to school with not brand name shoes on and things like that, and getting teased. You know what I mean? I know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's a fucking horrible feeling, mate. And just to be able to give back, it's such a good feeling. And this is how fucked my mind is sometimes. I'll do something nice like that for someone, and fuck, you've done a good job, Trent. That's a good thing you're doing. And then I'll start thinking, fuck, am I doing that so I feel better about myself? You know what I mean? And then I start feeling guilty. Fuck, you're doing this for yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's how fucked my mind is sometimes. You know what I mean?
It's okay to feel good though.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel good.
The feeling, I was like, not that I was, but I'm like, am I doing this so I feel good, or am I doing it to help? But, you know, now I think about it, I am doing it to help. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's making me feel good. And then I feel a bit guilty for that, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm getting pleasure and feeling good about it, you know what I mean? For helping people. But, mate, I'd give the shirt off my back to anyone. Stranger, don't care. I'd do anything for anyone. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing I have trouble with at the moment. Biggest thing I have trouble accepting is not everyone's got a heart as big as mine. Not everyone's willing to do what I would do for them. You know what I mean?
Mate, think about this. Would you rather make yourself feel good from giving back and helping others, or feeling good by doing something that's totally wrong against the law?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
You'd rather feel good helping others, wouldn't you?
100%.
I know you would.
Yeah, 100%.
Mate,
100%.
Mate, I don't want to keep upsetting you.
No, you're right. I'm good.
I want to know, you haven't had this chat with obviously your brothers and sisters.
Yep.
Would you? And do you know they were safe, or did you think the same thing might have happened to them, or are you unsure?
I haven't had the chat with them, and now you've mentioned it. It's actually the first time I thought about it.
It's probably time.
It would fucking break me, mate. Especially my little sister. It would fucking break me.
So you were 6 or 7. So how old?
7.
So how old she?
She would have been a newborn. Oh, hang on, no. She's 4. Yeah, she would have been a newborn. But again, that was when my mum was still around. When both my parents were still around. We were living at Jellicoe Street at Logan Lee. We moved over to Crestmead, and then we moved to Marsden. And when we were at Marsden, when I was about 12, that's when my mother left. I kind of got to go ask her now, but like I said, if I found out, it would break me, mate. It would break me, and I'd fucking kill some cunt. Yeah.
I understand, mate. No, now you got kids yourself.
When that happened to me, like at the time, being that young, you don't know. You know what I mean?
Don't even know. Yeah.
Like I said, this is the second time I've ever mentioned it. It feels good to get it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking upsetting, and it disgusts me seeing the way, you know, the preferential treatment these fucking scumbags get. You know what I mean? Looked after, fucking name protected. It's atrocious. You know what I mean? And now I've got my own daughter. It's the best thing ever. It's changed my life. Yeah. My wife. They're probably the two main reasons I decided to give up drinking and start dealing with my childhood trauma.
Yeah.
So I can be a better father for her. So I can try and break that cycle. And I remember when years ago, I always used to ask Chris, you know, how old were you when you stopped drinking? You know, how'd you do it? Blah, blah, blah. And I always used to look up to him for that. And I wanted to be like him, you know. I want to quit drinking. I want to drink. I think that'd be cool. And, you know, tried a couple of times, but maybe I just wasn't ready. And I remember the final straw, so to speak, was after my daughter was born. She must have been about 3 months old maybe. I come home early Sunday morning after going out on a Saturday night, like maybe 3-4 in the morning on a Sunday morning. Yep. And went and slept in the spare room because my wife, you know, smell like alcohol, doesn't like it. I'm the same. She has a few wines, you know what I mean? Get the fuck out. I woke up at midday And I just lay there and I thought to myself, you know, you've gone out, you've wasted all the, because, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'll go have a drink, and after a few drinks, you know, let's go get a bag of cocaine.
Yeah.
Let's go out, let's go do this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I'm drunk, I don't know what person I'm going to turn into, whether I'm going to have a few or 10 and go home, whether I'm going to have 10, get a bag of drugs, go and fucking waste thousands of dollars on the pokies. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then, you know, you wake up the next day and you're like, fuck, who have I got to apologise to? Fucking, you know, what have I done?
Just regret or
Just
not knowing?
Not knowing, and if I black out or regret from doing something stupid, you know what I mean? Like, fucking... But yeah, that morning I woke up about 12 o'clock and I was like, shit, I've just missed out on, you know, my daughter waking up and half the day with her. And my wife had been encouraging me to stop drinking for a while, and a combination between, you know, Chris mentioning that, my wife pushing me to be a better man and do it for her and my daughter, and then missing out on those hours with my daughter, that was enough for me to just say, no, that's it, you know what I mean? Whether I ever drink again or not, I don't know, but just not today.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Did you ever have any? I know you spoke about triggers before. Did you ever have any triggers around women? Because, like, obviously your mum not being there, and then some of the people your dad brought home. Did you ever have any? Well, you didn't have the best influences with women early on. Was that a problem, or? Yeah.
So these women he was bringing home, I could tell and I could hear things they were saying on the phone and to friends and that around them. And I knew my old man was being used, you know what I mean? And I'd try to tell him and he just wouldn't listen, you know what I mean? But as far as triggers go around women that I've been around, obvious reasons, my mum leaving. So when my mum left, I remember us being at the Brisbane airport saying goodbye to her. The first time she went to Brisbane airport, said she was going to a wedding for her sister in Melbourne. And then she came back a few weeks later.
Oh, so was that the first she went to meet him?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. Right. And then she's come back. And then the second time we dropped her at the airport and she told everyone where she was going back, told my dad where she was going back. And we're all standing there in the car park. And I still remember to this day, I still remember it clear as day like it was 10 minutes ago. She hugged all the kids and my dad except me, just left me standing there. And probably a few weeks after that, my dad might have been in a shit mood or whatever. But he turned around and he goes, just so you fucking know, your mother said that you were too much to deal with and that's why she couldn't stay any longer. So, you know, that's guilt I've got to deal with.
Mate, you've carried a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Carried a lot of demons throughout your life without really having to speak to people.
It's been hard holding it in, man, like I said, but yeah, hearing that and then knowing my sister growing up without a mum and things like that, you know what I mean? You take that personally and yeah, like I said, I'm speaking to people at the moment. My partner's very supportive. I'm working things myself. I just hold a lot of blame, a lot of guilt, I guess you could say.
How old are you now?
34. Be 35 next month. But
mate,
you know,
you've carried this pain for nearly 30 years.
Yeah. But my older sister, she's got a different dad, but she's been my sister since she was, 3 months old. I spoke to her a few years ago, and she was the one that actually encouraged me to go and speak to someone. It took her until she was 32 to go and speak to someone, you know what I mean? And I was like, give it a go, see how it goes, you know what I mean? And to be honest, it's probably one of the best things I've done. You know, it's just even having someone hear you out and talking back to you and being sympathetic to what you're telling them and
not judging you.
Not judging you, mate. Yeah. It's I'm looking for someone new to see at the moment because I've been quite good the last 6-8 months just with the little one being busy and that. Very, very happy with it, man. I love my daughter so much. Love my family. But yeah, I need to go and see someone. There's a lot more stuff that's starting to come to the surface now. I'm getting older and starting to realise. So I do need to go and deal with it. You know what I mean? So
like I just said about the pain you've carried for
Yeah.
so long through many different things. Mate, again, you're a kid that got up to mischief all the time, right?
Yeah.
And as an adult too.
The kid stuff. I think it's from not having guidance.
Mate,
you know what I mean?
Mate, you were squashing. Yeah. You were squashing other feelings that you had. You were trying to keep yourself busy, and not necessarily you wanted to get caught by the police or anything like that.
You're right.
But I see you
100% right.
You were doing things to sort of just keeping yourself busy. And 100%. If that meant doing stupid shit, you did stupid shit.
You're 100% right, mate. Yeah.
Mate, so obviously, we met you young, and obviously Liam. Oh, mate, this has opened up a total new can of worms. Liam was a father figure to us all.
Yeah.
Our old boxing coach, and rest in peace, Liam. Beautiful man.
Yeah, great man.
He was like a second father to everyone, all of us. When he left, did that feel like someone else is leaving me? Do you think, in hindsight now, looking back?
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, these are the issues I'm working through at the moment. Like Jack, you just mentioned triggers around women. Trust issues with my wife. When we first got together and up until a couple of years ago, they were very bad.
So you not trusting, or her?
Me not trusting.
You not trusting.
Just because of my mum.
Previous.
That's the thing I've realised now. It wasn't until probably 2 years ago. Hey, that's why I'm not trusting her, because of what my mum's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She might go away to Sydney for work or whatever, and I'm like anxious, bad anxiety. Is she coming back? What's she doing? You know what I mean?
Would that create anger in you, and you'd blow up on the phone, or were you calm with it?
Sometimes I would get angry, especially if I couldn't get hold of her. Not because I couldn't get hold of her or didn't know what she was doing, but that's, again, I've got to control what I can control. You know what I mean? I've got to look after my own feelings. They're my feelings. I need to deal with them. Not being able to get hold of her, not knowing what she's doing, that's not what's making me angry. It's triggering me because of what happened, and then I'm reacting to that. You know what I mean? There's better ways to react to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Communicate. Be rational about things. You know what I mean? Have these thoughts in your head. Is this real? Is it fake? You know what I mean? Try and rationalise. It's hard to do at the moment, but I'm slowly learning. I'm getting better at it, but yeah.
When you said it's only the second time you spoke about, the things that happened to you when you were young, when you were, the assault.
Yeah.
How did you break that to your wife? That must have been a tough moment. Like thinking, this is the first time you spoke about it. It must have been rough.
Yeah. Well, like I said the other week, I wanted to come on here and just talk about everything, because I think doing this, for me, it's part of healing for me.
Yeah,
getting all this off my chest. You know what I mean? So I didn't want her to hear it first hand off this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
we're sitting down having dinner, and I sort of just told her, you know what I mean? Just pretty, what would you say? Pretty bland, just, hey.
This happened.
I haven't told anyone this before, but this happened, yeah.
Was it a shock to her, or did she think I knew something had happened?
It was a shock to her. Like, she knows that. She knows about my childhood. She doesn't know the in-depths of everything. Every now and then I'll have a memory of something that has happened here and there, and instead of keeping it inside, I'll tell her.
Yeah.
Oh, back when I was 12 years old, this happened, that happened, you know what I mean? So, and even when I was talking to a psychiatrist a few months ago, I said to her, I don't really have much memory from my childhood. And then, she asked a bit about my history and that, and I told her, and she's like, well, what can happen is your mind will subconsciously block out all the bad stuff. She's like, that's probably why. And then I mentioned to her that I have these thoughts come back to me every now and then about things that have happened. And she's like, that's good. You process them, you deal with them, you move on. But not knowing or not being able to remember them, you're unable to process them, mate. So you're just stuck with them subconsciously and still dealing with that pain and anger inside, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Mate, so obviously your wife and your family has been a massive turning point in your life. But just before you mentioned drugs.
Yeah.
When did drugs come into your life? Why? And do you think you're done with it?
So first time was just weed. I was about 14, 15. I can't have it these days.
Yeah.
It fucking just sends me stupid. I can't. I fucking hate it.
This bloke doesn't need things to send him stupid.
Mate, give me a couple of lollies, mate. I'll go stupid. Yeah, I can't do it. I hate it. Can't stand the smell of it. And then probably, I think 16, tried my first ecstasy tablet.
Yeah, right.
Loved it. I'll be honest with you, I loved it.
Yeah.
Best feeling I had up until that stage. And obviously the weed probably stopped around 16, 17. Didn't really touch it after that, and still haven't. Then when I turned 18, start going out nightclubbing, and at that time, ecstasy or pingers, whatever you want to call it, that was a big thing, you know what I mean? So, obviously, leading up to fights, 6-8 weeks before fights, I would bust my ass, mate. Like, I would kill myself.
Clean it all up?
I wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't drink, wouldn't go out, wouldn't do anything, wouldn't touch anything. I would just purely train. I'd go scout. I'd get up at 4 a.m. I'd go do my run. I'd go carry scaffold all day, building scaffold in the hot sun. I'd get home, have a 20-minute power nap if I could, and then off to the gym for my afternoon session.
Yeah.
No, those were my days. You know what I mean? After fight night, mate, it was on. I would launch into as much fucking drugs and alcohol
Whatever was
as
there?
possible. Whatever
Anything.
was there.
Did not care.
Did not care, mate. I would launch into whatever I could for 2-3 day bender. I remember one time when I fought at super middle, so I weighed in at the limit 76.2 or whatever it was. Got into the ring at about 84 kilos. Got on it all weekend. Saturday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and pulled up about, 8 a.m. Monday morning.
Yeah.
And my cousin had to get to the airport, and I don't know why I did it, but I jumped on the scales, and I was 72 kilos. Just didn't eat.
Jesus
Didn't
Christ.
eat all weekend. Middleweight, yeah. Didn't eat all weekend. Didn't drink any water. Just drugs.
Was that on your mind through training camp? Like, at the end of this, I'm going to fucking annihilate myself?
Nah, it was never like that. It was like, you always have chat with the boys. Fuck yeah, after this fight, we can't wait to go out, But it was never like after fight night, we're going to go do this, we're going to go do that, you know what I mean? It would start off, we'd get home back to my house after the fight, we'd have a few beers, and then we're like, fuck, let's go out, you know what I mean? And then
just evolved.
Next minute, you have a few beers, and you're on the phone fucking chasing whatever you can get, you know what I mean? And then
You're thinking Ben Cousins, aren't you?
yeah.
Well, it's similar, right?
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Work his ass off, and then he just he'd say, I wouldn't have butter on my toast. I
Yeah.
would do everything right, but when I won that game, I was gone.
Mate, I was 100% the same. 100% the same. 100% the same.
But your motivation was always winning?
Yeah. But not just winning, I wanted to impress. Wanted to impress, wanted to show my skill. And I think Chris mentioned on it the other day, like I busted my ass in the gym. Up until, so when me and Angelo split, my passion for boxing went from 100 down to about fucking 10. I had no direction.
Were you depressed?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get into it, but and you can ask Chris will say this to you as well. It was not my fault, and there's not many times Chris will agree with me and say Trent's in the right, but that was one of them where he said to me, "No, you're in the right."
Right.
And I stuck to my guns. As a man, I'm not going to be disrespected like that, and I chose to walk away.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So after that, how many more fights did you? Oh, that's when you the Bivol fight next. No.
Yeah, Bill fight.
Was that the next fight?
Yeah, and looking back now, I'd been out the ring for nearly 2 years, and then jumped straight in the ring with Bivol.
Big ask.
Yeah, big ask. Just a little. Just back to the drug use thing for a sec. Like start off drinking and ecstasy tablets. You move through your 20s. Cocaine was the next thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, just launching into that as much as you can. You know what I mean? Ice. I was on ice for a good 8 months.
Would you class yourself as a drug addict?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense.
Did you need it?
Didn't need it. The ice, it's very, very addictive. The feeling you get when you breathe that in and blow it out is like nothing you'll ever feel. But the come down is absolutely horrendous. Like,
right.
I'm talking, you can't sleep. You're seeing things, sleep deprivation, paranoia, all that sort of stuff.
Is that why they're always topping up, just so they don't have that as much?
Yeah, and then it just becomes, you need it to feel normal. It's not like you're getting high off it anymore. You need it to feel normal. I never got to that stage where I needed it to feel normal. It started off as just a thing we do before we go out.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you'd come home on a Monday morning from going out Sunday night, and you're into it on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there, and then obviously, because you've had so much, it's not really doing the effect that it did on Friday night.
Yeah.
Monday morning, you're sitting there thinking, the fuck am I doing with myself? You know what I mean? Like, then you'd go home and you'd have a sleep for, 18, 20 hours, and you'd wake up. First thing you want to do is go and get more. You know what I mean? Just a vicious cycle for 8 months, and it was when it actually injured. So I had a severed nerve in my hand from a splinter. They tried to cut out. They cut through my nerve in my finger. So I was off work for like a year, and couldn't box. Wasn't training much. Again, I was walking around like 71 kilos. Like I was.
Were you married at this stage?
Nah. She was still with me. Yeah, I was.
She's a good woman, mate.
Yeah.
Holy
I
shit!
Tell you, I love her to death. She is the most beautiful soul I've ever met. And like I said, mate, she is stuck by me from day one. And I don't know how. I don't know why. But I can't.
Thank God.
I can't thank anyone enough, mate. Like, yeah. There's no reason why she's to still be with me, but she is, and I'll forever be grateful for her, and I'll spend the rest of my life making up whatever I have to. She's just but yeah, it was just fortunate enough. Like a lot of the boys at the time that I was using the ice with, a lot of them are in jail or in and out of jail, still using it. I was just fortunate enough that I had boxing to pull me back out of it and away from it. You know what I mean? If I didn't have boxing, fuck knows where I'd be.
I reckon,
Yeah.
Again, from not even knowing some of these stories, but just knowing you since you were a kid, if boxing wasn't there, you were in jail, mate.
That's the thing. When I was young, because, mate, I've got an addictive personality. Doesn't matter what it is. When I was younger, boxing was my addiction. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everything I fucking did was boxing. And then when that hand injury happened, I had nothing.
Yeah.
Mate says,
and you'd split up with promoter and a few other things
says,
as well.
Have a puff of this. That was my next addiction. Fucking ice. You know what I mean? Fucking looking back now, I'll be honest with you, some of the best times of my life I had was using that stuff.
Well, you wouldn't have done it again if it wasn't, would you?
Fucking looking back now, I would never touch it, and I advise anyone that gets offered it, don't fucking touch it. It's just because you don't know if you're gonna come back from using it or not. Yeah, you got to have some strong mental fortitude to be able to stop that. It is, yeah.
They reckon people. Well, not that it's ever been part of my world, but they reckon people touch it once and you can be downhill
100%,
immediately.
100%. And that's one thing I've always had since I was a young kid. You know what I mean? I've always had a strong mind, and I guess after my mum left, I think that just got even stronger. My mental fortitude.
You had to grow up quick.
I had to grow up quick, 100% I did. Always been able to push my body beyond the limits. Training. I would kill myself in that gym, mate. Like I'm talking going till I can't go anymore, spewing up. And this is like at peak fitness, like 3 weeks out from a fight.
Yeah.
And I'm spewing up for how much I'm pushing myself, you know what I mean? I've had my heart rate at 209 beats a minute 3 weeks out from a fight. Like from pushing myself that hard, you know what I mean? I was just... It was like a drug. It was like a drug. How fucking tired can I get? How much can I hurt myself here? You know what I mean? That's what it was like for me. And then I'd start hurting. I'd be like, fucking go, do a bit more, do a bit more, do a bit more. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember, I know a while ago we spoke to Shannon O'Connell, and she was one. I know you two have had history ups and downs in your life too, but anyway, that's all aside.
Yeah.
She said very similar things. She said, I'm just like my mum. She was addicted to drugs. I have to push myself till breaking in the gym just so I feel pain as well.
Yeah. So that pain you feel when you train, a normal person couldn't. Jack, you probably know yourself. A normal person couldn't handle that. There's no way they could, mate. But
not for years on end.
No. And like I said, you know, if we'd have a hard session in the gym, the second I saw the bloke next to me starting to slow down or fade,
pick it up.
I would pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm breaking you. It's not a competition, but to me it is. Everything was a competition.
Yeah.
I've got you. You're fading. I'm not. I'll fucking keep going.
Yeah.
I'll stay here for 2 hours and keep doing this. You're slowing down. I'm not slowing down. I'm going harder. That's how it was to me, you know what I mean?
Mate, speaking about that, your first loss as a professional.
Let's talk about first loss as an amateur. I fucking cried my eyes for 3 days.
Did you?
Won my first 5. Lost one against a guy named Josh Peaty, Bundaberg Wide Bay titles. Stepped up a weight division and an age division and lost. And it was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Really? That stands out more than other losses?
Yeah, by far.
And why? Just because you're first, or you just didn't know how to handle it?
First, I'd won 5 fights. And I just 10-year-old kid.
Invincible?
Fucking invincible. Didn't know what a loss was. You know, footy you lose, you're like, boxing, completely different, you know what I mean? But I was fortunate enough after that, and I think Clay Waterman may have beaten it, but I had the record for the most consecutive wins at the time. I think I went from 5-1. I think I went to 72-1 before I lost another fight.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. Yeah.
Everyone does that.
That's fucking, like we speak
They're all walkovers.
Yeah. Count them, but.
Yeah, so I got to 72-1, and then I lost to a guy named Matt Carlo, who was a bull rider from out at Mount Me. I lost to him, and then I think that's when Chris started putting me in with seniors and whatnot, and I started, you know, I beat most of them, but I started...
Win some, lose some, yeah.
Started win some, lose some, yeah.
So that has more effect on you than any professional loss?
By far, yeah.
I said to Chris the other day, because how old were you when you turned professional, 18 or 19?
I think I was 20.
Oh, were you?
20 or 21 maybe, yeah.
I said to him, if you'd have stayed along, or this is what I was getting at, whether this is how it came across or not, if you'd have stayed for another Olympiad, like, you know, next Olympics after that, would you have got there and could you have done great at the Olympic Games? Do you ever regret turning professional, or do you think you could have held on for a couple of years as an amateur?
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Chris and I had a conversation about it. You know, what do you want to do? And I'm pretty sure I opted to turn pro, but in regards to your question, staying amateur, I 100% believe I would have got through to the next one.
Yeah.
The Commonwealth Games trials, Chris spoke about. Jed O'Mahony, one of the greatest amateurs we've ever seen.
Very good boxer.
I was ahead going into the last round. 17-year-old kid against a fucking, you know, top guy of the division for many, many years. And he come back and pipped me by 2 points. You know what I mean? And I still remember after that, I bawled my eyes out. You know what I mean? The Jared Fletcher one in Samoa, I stopped the Samoan kid on 20 points in my first fight.
Yep.
And then I had a bye, and then I fought Fletcher in the final. And I think the first round was 3-2 to him. Second round, I think 7-6 I was up. And then going to the last round, I believe it was 10-10 even. 10-10 even. And then I don't know what happened halfway through the last round. Fletcher, he was gone. He knew I was all over him. He was throwing me on the ground. He was like doing whatever he could.
Yeah.
And I thought I heard Chris say, "You're 1 point up, run." So I started cutting laps around the ring. You know what I mean? And then we got into a clinch, and Chris was like, "You're 1 down," and I was like, can't you just tell me I'm one up? I'm here cutting laps for the last 30 seconds, you know what I mean? But like I said, he was throwing me on the ground, doing all sorts. And that one there, when they done the medal ceremony, they had Fletcher, Nathan McEwen, and I think the Kiwi B team might have got the bronze medal.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and that's probably the second time I was in tears from a loss. Like, that broke me, that one, because I busted my ass to try and win that. And it's shit because that year, the Australian titles, I fought 3 fights. I fought a guy from Western Australia, Andy someone.
What year are we talking?
2007 it would have been.
Okay.
Andy someone, beat him 28-12. I fought Aaron Scully.
Oh, yeah?
I beat him by quite a fair bit. And then I stopped Nathan Carroll in the final.
Yeah.
On 20 points.
Who was a teammate later on?
It was a teammate later on. Fuck, good bloke. So 3 hard fights, you know what I mean? Won the Australian title. And the rule back then was for that particular selection. If you weren't at that games, you weren't eligible to go to the Oceanias. Fletcher, however, had gone and got a medical note saying that he was sick, so he didn't have to attend. So realistically, no one else got medical note.
Yeah.
A couple of others didn't make the Australian titles. They never got to try out.
So he shouldn't have gone.
He was the only B team member in Samoa for those Commonwealth Games. There might have been a few others off the top of my head, but he shouldn't have even been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we got to the Oceanias and, lost to him by I think 1 point just in the last round. And I remember, I clearly remember this day. I was sitting there doing the medal ceremony and I was in tears.
Broken.
Just it meant that much to me because the months before that, I used to visualise a lot when I first, towards the end of my amateur career and the start of my pro career, I used to visualise a lot. And that one there, I remember visualising having that gold medal at the Olympics, and I'd visualise it, and I'd break into tears visualising having that gold medal around my neck. You know what I mean?
Feel it?
Yeah, and it even went as far in my pro career when I had my pro debut. Do you remember when Mundy knocked out Jared Zose and he just right hand timber?
Yeah.
I visualised that for my pro debut for a month, double jab to right hand, and him to go like that, and it happened exactly like that.
Yeah.
And it spun me out. And my visualisation, it got that good. I could smell the smell you get from gloves.
Yeah. You could feel it, taste it, everything.
I could smell the gloves. That's how good my visualisation got. I could smell the gloves.
Mate, it's everything. Visualisation is, and the mind is so strong. Hearing Paul Gallen talk after he fought Lucas Brown, he said, I don't know why. I just could not get this picture of me knocking him out in the first round, and it fucking happened.
Yeah.
He said, I knew it was going to happen, but just visualisation.
I'll tell you right now, sorry to accurate.
It can go the other way too. You negatively visualise shit, and not even boxing, just in life, that shit's going to happen. And
You bring it on, don't you?
100%. Bivol fight, for example. You know me, I'm piss take. I like to have a joke.
Yeah.
That whole week before Bivol, I was a nervous wreck, mate, and I just had negative thoughts the whole entire time in the dressing room before the fight, and I got in there and started boxing, and I was fine, you know what I mean. But I'd already got those thoughts in my head, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest thing I could say to any up and younger comer, you know, and I've realised this through my career.
Yeah.
If I'd had known when I was younger how much talent I had and how much support I had around me, I would 100% be world champion right now. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. I barely touched the surface of what I could have done.
Is that a regret that not buying into everybody else's thoughts around you? I suppose
that's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. It's something I still struggle with.
You should be world champion.
I get emotional about it, thinking about it, because I know that I barely scratched the surface. I remember years ago, just after I moved out of Chrissy's house at Daisy Hill, he wrote me a letter. I can't remember exactly what it said, but something along the lines of, you've got something I've never seen before. Give yourself 1 full year of training with no shit, no alcohol, 100% dedication, and trust me, you'll see how good you're going to be. And, you know, back then, 18-year-old kid, 17, 18-year-old kid.
Chose not to listen.
Whatever, you know what I mean? But like I said, if I'd have known back then the talent I had and the people I had around me, there's no way we'd be sitting here having this conversation. There's no doubt in my mind I'd be a world champion.
Yeah, I've no doubt.
So, any young kid out there with talent, you nurture that talent and you chase it and you do whatever you can to reach it, and you make sure your head's right. Because if your head ain't right, you can be that Bivol fight. I was sparring 15 rounds before that. Barely blow a candle out. I done 10K in just under 40 minutes. That's how fit I was. I was the fittest I've ever been. Couldn't have been any fitter. Yeah. But mentally,
was it in your head through the whole camp, or was it just that week prior to the fight?
Just a week prior to the fight.
You just went negative.
Just I don't know what happened. Like I was diagnosed maybe 2015 with complex post-traumatic stress disorder and generalised anxiety disorder. Been pretty stable throughout the years with boxing. But obviously that stuff, there's no magic pill, there's no healing for it. You've got to do the work for it, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just let it go, you know what I mean? Oh, fuck that, harden up, you'll be right, sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just pretty much how you got through the early life as well.
Yeah, exactly. But, part of me not reaching my potential has probably got to do with what Chris mentioned the other day, is missing sessions and things like that. Towards the end of my career, like I said, after I split with Ange, I lost a lot of passion for the sport, but missing sessions and things like that, it wasn't like I was like, I can't be fucked going to training.
Yeah.
I just had in my mind, I'm tired today.
Yeah.
I need a rest. That was my mindset about it, you know what I mean?
Instead of I'm tired, I must go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, looking back now, get the fuck to training. I don't care if you're tired. You can fucking rest when you get home, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just having your mental strength is, I would say, 10 times more important than physical strength.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how fit you are. If you're not right in the head, you ain't going to be able to do shit.
I remember you as a kid going to spar in Billy's gym. I think Ange took a crew of you down there, you and Omar, and with Greenie and all the guys when they were all at Phoenix Gym. You were sparring pros from a young age and mixing it with the best of them, weren't you?
Yeah, so that one there, I think we all went down. I think I sparred that one there. I sparred Skinny Hussain. I think I sparred Skinny Hussain.
Can you believe this bloke same weight as Skinny Hussain?
Yeah,
like you got the right Hussain.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure it was Del Hussain. Pretty sure it was him because I was about the same weight at that time. And there's a few photos that still going around. I got home. Got me
proof.
Got me pants down, sitting on out the front of the Opera House.
That's Trent.
And Nathan DeCarlo done a few rounds before me, and I said to him, does he hit hard? He goes, no. Anyway, I come out, caught a jab on my right glove, and I was like, holy fuck. Fucking. Anyway, again, I was like 15, 16, whatever we were. And this grown men, same weight, you know what I mean? And we had a good back and forth spar for 3 rounds, and then he backed me up to the rope, starts hitting me with a few left rips. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell, what is going on here? Like, these are hurting, like, but to get experience like that at such a young age, like, it's unbelievable. Before Danny Green fought Roy Jones Jr., they brought me down there as a sparring partner for a week.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I was only 17.
Yeah.
That was an unreal experience.
Spent a lot of time as Geely's main sparring partner too, didn't you?
Yeah. So they originally got me down there before he fought for his first world title against Sebastian Sylvester, I believe it was, in Germany.
Yep.
And they just wanted me down there for a week for 3 6-round spars. And towards the end of the week, come up to me and they said, hey, can you stay the month? And I was like,
what's my money?
Yeah.
Can you pay me?
I didn't even ask at the start.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, no worries. And then they, I just asked to go home for the weekend. I said, let me go home for the weekend and I'll come back. They said, yeah, no worries. So go home for the weekend. I come back. Billy Tracy.
Did you sleep?
Yeah.
When you went home? No, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. There's another time I'll tell you.
Here we go.
Yeah, Billy Tracy picked me up from. He had one of his drivers pick me up from the airport, drove me out to his house, massive mansion. Takes me inside, sits me down on the table, and there's this big stack of cash sitting on the table. You know, and he walks off. Yeah, right. And Trent Broadhurst, he wouldn't want to do that. Fucking gone.
Trent's fucking sparring. I'm out of here.
He's come back out to his living room. Where's my sparring partner gone?
Gone. Me cash.
Yeah, he's a big pile of money there. He's walked off, come back, and sat down, and he stood me up. He sized me up. He goes, "How tall are you?" Got a good jab, because Sebastian Silvestre at the time had a good jab, you know what I mean? And he goes, yeah, no worries. We'll take you down your hotel. And he goes, there's some money for the next 2 weeks. I'll get your sparring money to you when you finish. And I'm like,
holy shit, I've never seen that much.
Fuck it, $3,000 for fucking 2 weeks, and then I'll get your sparring money for you at the end of it. And I'm like, fucking how good's this? You know what I mean? And took that and spent the 2 weeks there sparring. The 4 weeks there sparring. I went home after 2 weeks, had a break, come back. And when I finished up my sparring, he gave me another $4,000, so $1,000 a week sparring, you know what I mean? So it's $7,000 for 4 weeks of sparring. And then they asked me to go over to Germany with him for the remainder of his camp and stay for the fight. So that was an unreal experience. We spent a week in Berlin.
Yep.
Rob Medley and I were out.
I was going to say, that's right.
Having a
You
fun
and Rob
time.
Yeah.
We thought the push bikes were just communal because none of them were chained up. So we're just grabbing bikes, riding them around, swapping them whenever we want. And then next moment we find out that people actually own these bikes. And the morning we got picked up to go out from Berlin to wherever the fight was. I can't remember where it was. It was out somewhere. We're still pissed. And Rob Medley was like, my bike's coming. And we got Salmon brothers there.
Oh, yeah.
So the head dog, Carl, or whatever his name was, him and his business partner were there with his big bus. And Rob Medley's pissed, staggering everywhere, and he's trying to put this bike in the back of the bus.
Someone else's
and
bike.
They're like, Rob, you can't take the bike. He's like, I'm taking the bike. Rob, you can't take the bike. So he leaves the bike. And anyway, for the next 20 minutes before he fell asleep, pissed, he's like, my fucking bike this, my bike that. I've had that since I was a young fella. They used to get me to school and back, like just wouldn't shut up, you know, and then obviously passed out. But there was there's no speed limits in Germany.
Oh, really?
So we got Gary Francisco driving this bus, got coffee in one hand, phone in the other, doing 150 Ks on the phone, like down this icy freeway.
Using his elbows to drive.
Then we get to where we are, and there's a big sign there. It's like minus 13 degrees. He's walking around with thongs on. Don't worry, mate, I'm from Melbourne. Yeah, righto.
Okay, mate.
About 10 minutes later, he's like, fuck, I might go get some fucking slippers, eh? His feet are bright purple like us. Yeah, but Gil won that fight.
So where were you? Did you sit near the corner or in the front row? Or?
So I wasn't actually in the corner. They already had their full cornerman, but I was literally had a seat right behind the corner.
Yeah, right.
And got the decision. I'm waving the flag around like, yeah. And I look over and this German bloke's like, and I'm like, righto, sweet. We start walking back to the dressing room. There's cans of beer coming throwing over at us, like just getting pelted. Like it was bad. Like I was scared. Like it was bad. Like,
didn't get decisions over there back then either.
No, he didn't. Massive. But he boxed his head off. Yeah, I think 116, 112 across the board. Maybe a 115, 113. Yeah, that was his first camp I went to him with, that one. So and I got to credit Gilly because I learned a lot from him. How to slow the pace of a fight. You know, how to control the pace of a fight. And that's probably the two biggest things I learned that helped me throughout my career. Yeah. And they come from him, so, yeah.
Mate, you've had a crazy life.
Yeah.
A lot of downs. Like people see all the ups and your success as a boxer, but, mate, I think it's been outweighed by, well, if you don't mind me saying, negative parts of your life. You've had some rough times, mate.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can get through these. Mate, Chris McCullen's been, as you've said before, been a huge influence in your life, and also your wife.
Yeah.
And you're still in contact with Chrissy all the time now?
Yeah.
And so he's been there since what? Well, we've known you since you're about 12, obviously, and Chrissy's been your main man.
21, 22 years now.
Clip you around the ear.
Yeah. Another thing I haven't spoken too much as well is, I've had a couple of times on my own life. Thinking about that now with a daughter upsets me. There's people that do it for attention seeking. There's people that actually try and do it. One of the time probably was attention seeking. But there was another time I got prescribed some anti-anxiety tablets from a doctor, Valium. And at the time, I was allowed up to 2 a day, which was, quite a lot. And I think I had 28 of them in one go.
Holy
28
shit.
Valium. And my missus found me in the cubicle, completely unconscious.
Were you a dad at this stage? No.
No, I wasn't a dad. No, wasn't a dad. Would never do that. Still get some intrusive thoughts, but not like that. But I would never ever act on it. My daughter needs her father there, and I want to be there to see her grow up. I love having a family. It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I think I had 28 Valium, and they rushed me up to Logan Hospital, took me straight in the resuscitation room. I was out cold. They couldn't wake me up. Rubbing my chest, rubbing my hair, trying to get me awake. I think my oxygen levels. So if you go in and get a blood pressure test, they get your oxygen levels as well with it.
Yeah.
Oxygen levels are usually around 97 to 100%. I think my oxygen levels are around 40-something%. So I wasn't breathing.
Yeah.
Just completely.
So what year is this?
This is going back probably 2019, maybe 2020.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I've probably took them an hour or so with a few bits of medication, IV medications and stuff like that, to try and stop the effects of the Valium. But they said if I'd have been left any longer in that cubicle, toilet at home where my wife found me, that I would have been dead. It just
Mate, at that time, can you remember your sober mind just before you took that first tablet? Or had you been on the drink or anything? Or
No.
you were sober and you went, this is my decision right now?
A couple other times I'd been on the drink and fucked around and tried to hurt myself, but not like that.
Not like this one?
Not like that.
Can you remember what ticked you over, or you just head noise was getting too crazy? You just thoughts?
So, like my partner, she's very supportive, and she challenges me to be a better man and a better person all the time, every single day of the week. And back then was probably when she really started doing it, because we were getting married and she wanted to have a family, and she's like, you need to improve, you need self-improvement. And I was like, yeah, I agree. And I just didn't want to do it. Not that I didn't want to do it. It wasn't a priority.
Yeah, you had other things.
Other things, yeah. And just between that and, at the time, boxing had sort of started dwindling out. And things from my past were starting to come up. And to be honest with you, I just had enough. I was like, I can't deal with this pain anymore. Like I couldn't do it. It's just every day, like I'd drive to work, something had come up, and I'd end up in tears, and then my wife would call me and have a go about something, and it would just compound and compound and compound, and it was probably compounding for a good 3-4 weeks. And now I'm comfortable going and talking to someone about my problems and things like that, but back then I wasn't. It just bottled up, you know what I mean? It probably just, things compounded for probably a good month and a half, and I just sitting there on a Saturday arvo, nothing even happened. The regular Saturday arvo, come home from work about 10:30 in the morning, and about midday I just thought, fuck this, I'm done.
Oh shit!
Just grabbed, like I said, I think 20 22 or 28, something like that, and just ate them all. Yeah, I vaguely remember the ambulance guys picking me up off the toilet floor, and that's all I remember until I woke up in the Logan Hospital in the mental ward with some straps around my arms.
Did you really?
Yeah. That's it. Don't remember anything in between.
They thought you weren't of sound mind at all.
Yeah. Lady come in and questioned me, and I think they let me go the next day. But yeah, looking back now, fucking scary. Very, very scared. I'm telling you now, it takes some balls to try and do that to yourself.
Yeah.
But that's just the point I was at. You know what I mean? I couldn't handle it anymore. I'd had enough. And for that to be the only way out, like, things have got to be real bad. And things weren't that bad. It was just, like I said, things from my childhood started coming up, and then my wife, you know, challenging me to be a better man, which every right to, and I wanted that.
But it was just tipping you over the edge.
It was just too much at once. You know what I mean? It just like I said, tipped me over the edge. I'd had enough. Yeah. Yeah. So.
What do you do now, Trent? Like, what do you do to pull yourself out in moments like that? Like, I know you got a daughter and you've got a beautiful young family, but what do you do outside of that now, apart because you don't have boxing as an athlete? What do you do?
So there's three things I ask myself when I start having intrusive thoughts like that. All right. Is it going to matter in 5 years' time? Is it real? And is this going to affect my life moving forward? Now, 9 times out of 10, if I go through those three questions, it's fucking an insignificant thing. There's nothing there, you know what I mean? But I have intrusive thoughts most days, and I talk myself through it, ask those couple of questions, and like I said, 9 times out of 10, there's nothing there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
is it real, or am I making up in my head?
Yeah. So you've got the tools now to go, fuck that. Where
not real.
back then you didn't
Back then I
have those
didn't.
tools to be able to do
Back then
that.
I didn't. That was, to me, that felt like the only way out of that, feeling that pain. There was no other way to escape that pain other than fucking see you later. That was it. And it scares the shit out of me thinking now how close I was to dying. Because I love life. I love living.
Yeah.
I always have. It just had those few moments there where, you know, it was getting too much. And that time there, like I said, I was very, very close to dying. And thinking about that now, it scares the living shit out of me that it nearly happened. Yeah.
Yeah, if that had been curtains then, you wouldn't be living the life you are now, would
Nah,
you?
I've got a good life now, mate. Beautiful wife, beautiful daughter. You know, we've bought a house together. A couple of nice greyhound pets. A little bird, Floyd Mayfeather. Shout out Floyd Mayfeather. Unfortunately, my wife killed Manny Pacquiao.
Not angry?
Fucking fuming still, mate. It's been 10 years.
Has it been 10 years?
Yeah, so I went down to the service station to get a paper, and he used to crawl up the stairs at the old unit we lived in and climb in the bed with her. And she slept in. I come home and I was like, hey, well, where's Manny? She's like, I don't know. Start digging around in the bed. He's laying there like fucking, and I'm like, fuck. Put him under the shower, try to wake him up, took him to the vet. They called and said, do you want to come say goodbye? And by the time I got in there to say goodbye, he was dead. Yeah.
Mate, I've just always, I know you've always loved your birds and your animals, but I've just always thought this is the craziest thing. You got Trent Broadhurst, the edgiest motherfucker you've ever met, right? We've just heard his stories, the shit that he's been through.
Yeah.
Also the shit that he's brought on in his own life by being a dickhead.
You know what it is, but
he loves birds.
You know what it is, but I think it's birds and animals. They rely on us. They need caring for. I know it. Same as when you're talking about giving back to those kids.
Yeah.
These animals, they need to be given back. They need to be cared for. You know what I mean? And I know what it's like not to be cared for. I think that's why I must like animals.
Are you going to do that with boxing? Are you going to give back as a coach now?
Yeah. So even donations, like I'll give whatever I can to anyone. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just love helping out. Benny Harrington, for instance, his end of year presentation, I think last year, done $500 gift vouchers for him. You know what I mean? Just messaged him, said, hey, what can I do to help? He goes, do this. Sweet, done. But yeah, I'm training Ricky Silva now.
Yep.
And, you know, he's offered payment. I told him, I was like, mate, I don't want nothing from you. Just the feeling I get from seeing a fighter improve, that's enough for me. I know it's like helping out Aaron and the other boys in the gym. Yeah. When you see him fight and when you see him improve and you see him win and you get that feeling,
that buzz,
that buzz. It's not like winning a fight yourself. Nothing will ever come close to that. You can't beat that. That's another drug in itself. But coaching a fighter and seeing that, it's very, very close. So, and I'm enjoying training Ricky. He's improved out of sight, and the thing I like most about training Ricky is the bloke listens. Yeah. He listens and he learns. He doesn't fuck around. He'll do whatever you ask him, and he's committed and he wants to do something and go places in this sport. And I honestly believe he can.
So are you his main coach now?
Main coach now, yeah. He's got another guy down there, Caleb Gray, who helps him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Caleb's a good kid.
Caleb,
Nugget oversees everything and makes sure everything's, above board and going well and drills them with fitness. But yeah, as far as skill-wise goes, I'm doing all of Ricky's skill work with him.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
He's got anything coming up?
He's fighting July 8 against Quinton Carey down at Southport Sharks. Quinton's could call him a journeyman if you want, but he's slippery and he can fight. He's had some good wins. He can punch a little bit. So, the fight's there for Ricky to win. But, if he shows up and he's not on,
he's always there to lose as well.
He's going to get beat, mate. Yeah.
There's so many things in the pro game that you could probably pass on to people as well. And, that'll be massive. Because there's so many tricks. You come from amateurs and you start as a kid again.
Yeah.
Even I was 23 and I'm still learning so much now. Just little things.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with Ricky. I get a bit overexcited sometimes training him because I've got so much knowledge and so many little tricks to pass on.
Take it easy.
And I go to start showing. I'm like, nah, fuck. And I'm like,
back up a bit.
Ricky, brick by brick, mate. Just a little bit at a time. So, at the moment we're just working on his jab, working on his feet, working on his head movement, working on not loading up every shot. Yeah. Trying to get his balance right. You know what I mean? Just the basics. And
that's the thing when you're known as a bit of a puncher. They do try to overload. They do try to start believing themselves a puncher. They try and hit too hard anyway.
First pad session I did with him is, if he missed a shot, he was halfway across the ring because he missed. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, mate, we can't be doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm just, Ricky, just touch, accelerate through the combination. Change your speed because I said the second you start loading up on someone, what are they going to do? They're just going to cover up, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Said you touch, disguise your shot. They're going to stay open.
Yeah.
You can touch, bang, bang.
Yeah.
They're going to open up. You're going to catch them. But as soon as you load up, they're just going to lock up or they're going to run. You won't land a glove on them.
100%. Yeah. Mate, we've had a good yarn. Is there anything else you'd like to get off your chest, mate? Or are you pretty good?
No, I'm pretty good. I could sit here and talk for days about stuff from my childhood, but it was fucked up.
I think you've
fucked up, but look, I think people often talk about my achievements in boxing, but I think what I've done outside of the ring and the life I've created is far outweighed my achievements inside the ring by far.
Mate, and I just think people that listen to this podcast, whether they listen on Spotify or watch on YouTube, whatever, mate, if anybody else has suffered similar to you have as a kid, any advice as like that 6 and 7 year old kid?
Yeah.
Time again, what would you do?
Don't hold on to it. Don't hold on to it.
Get off your chest.
Go and speak to someone. It took me 32 years to go and speak to someone. You know what I mean? If you're not comfortable doing it, go and do it anyway. The longer you hold that in, the more damage you're going to cause to yourself. You know what I mean?
Mate, you've been good to stay out of jail, I
reckon. 100%. But the longer you hold on to these things that happen in your childhood or your younger years, whatever it may be, the longer you hold on to it, the more damage it's going to do to you and the longer it's going to take to heal. The sooner you can start getting through these things and healing from them, the better off your life's going to be. Because I'm telling you now, and take this from my experience, You hold on to things, and it's just in your head every day. I'll be walking around job site, something from when I'm 14, 15 will pop up. I'll start getting teary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You cannot hold on to it. You need to get it off your chest. You need to work through it. You need to realise or recognise your triggers. You need to recognise why they are your triggers, and you need to try and control what you can do. Control your emotions. Even though it might be someone else's fault, you can't control what they've done. Just got to control the way you react to it and the way you respond to it. But yeah, go and talk to someone, get help, you know what I mean? And I like giving back. I love helping people. So anyone out there wants to shoot me a message, send me your phone number, I'll give you a call. You want to have a chat, you want to catch up, whatever it may be, I don't care. I'm happy to help.
And I'll back that. I know 100% Trent does that, and you do